Thank you so much, Joe, for speaking here at the White Label Expo. Today was a lot of information being thrown out, a lot of questions. So I wanted to address, you said something that there's always opportunity from chaos. Can you expand on that?
Well, in the entrepreneurial capitalistic system, there are businesses constantly that are looking for that edge.
Yeah.
So as we're developing our own business psyche as entrepreneurs, you have to take a look at what's available in the community, what's needed, and then how you can take those opportunities and expand on them from an economic standpoint. So out of chaos, nobody ever expected what was going to happen the last 18 months. There have been things, signs or opportunities that are becoming more evident every day. And what we're trying to do as the government, as a government agency, is trying to help people sort of realize where those opportunities are. It's like what I talked about, employment. People are leaving the hospitality industry, but they're going into nursing, and they're going into medicine, and they're going into supply chain type of things that weren't affected whatsoever by COVID. Look at Amazon. I mean, it grew tremendously. Even food delivery, when restaurants were closed, they were still able to deliver. So people got into a wholesale food delivery business, whether they used Grubhub as their platform or DoorDash or whatever it was, there was opportunities there. So what we're trying to figure out is, and what I'm trying to figure out as an entrepreneur myself, and as somebody who's been involved in business and economics for 30 years, is where are the next trends based on what has happened? Because the possibility of it happening again is not very remote. I mean, it is very, very much evident. Or if it doesn't happen again, there are things, I look at every economic cycle the same way. There are businesses that should never survive. They basically exist by the skin of their teeth. There are other businesses that prosper. There are other businesses that survive because they've made decisions instantaneously sometimes, or they've had flexibility that have given them opportunities to not only get through the economic downturn, or in this case, a pandemic disaster, but also gave them the opportunity to look at where the avenues for growth are in the future. So that's what I was talking about.
We were talking before this event that the big pivot that's happening, and like you said, some people were forced to pivot because of the pandemic, and others were flexible in that they can actually get ahead of the curve. So right now, what do businesses have to do to be successful in this climate?
Be insightful. Listen, I tell business owners every day, your consumer is going to tell you where to be. Whether you're delivering a product or a service, your consumer is going to tell you where you're falling short or where there's opportunities for future growth and delivery. It's really just being open-minded, not being so restricted by the success of the past, and definitely not being hampered by the failure of the past. But really keeping an open mind and seeing that the whole basis of entrepreneurship and capitalism is the basis of opportunity and the basis for new enhancements, new growth, new ways to profit. So you just have to have that open mind and really, really keep your options open, and like you said, the word flexibility.
And then finally, we're here at the White Label Expo. How important is this event for companies coming together and learning to be flexible?
Well, if anything has really been affected during the pandemic was the supply chain. These are the masters of the supply chain. I mean, these are the cog that produce products that are going out into the general public, from a wholesale or retail basis. So yeah, I mean, here we have basically, if you look around, you have businesses that have also been affected by their own supply chain, but businesses that have basically adapted themselves. That's why they're here, that's why they survived COVID, and really looking for ways to expand their customer base and ways to expand their opportunities for profitability. So an event like this, what I hope two things come out of it. Number one, that it happens, in what we hope is the recovery from the COVID disaster, but also the fact that there's a community of businesses and individuals here that talk to each other. Because there's nothing in this world that hasn't been invented already or hasn't been tried already in one way or another. It's just the innovation of what has been proven in the past to make it better is what really these people should be focused on. And the best way to do that is through community. And that's why I'm glad that an event like this is going on, because you see people walking around, not only looking at what the products and services are provided, but people that are from booth to booth to booth talking to each other. And that's the kind of thing that I like to see in capitalism.
Well, thank you so much for your service. After your talk, you had a slew of people that came after you to ask their questions. So thank you so much for being here and contributing.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much as well.